Hey there, keen traders. This is the weekend wrap. We're just going to go over what we did today and what we're looking for heading into the new week. I guess we briefly discussed it this morning, but we tried to do our first midnight trade in the Euro JPY after checking everything out last week, and we saw our range that we were in. The pair broke below the range, which was I think around 123.20, around 330 in European trading, but I decided not to take the trade because it was sitting right here at resistance at 123. I was looking for a break of that, so then we moved into a longer term scalp mode in this pair in North American trading, and the range that we were looking at was basically just the range that I had been trading in since around 3 o'clock, where the top of it was at 123.62 and the bottom was at 123. I wasn't interested in taking any trades to the downside, and the pair broke out aggressively at 8 o'clock. And you can see it shot up 50 pips almost instantly. Actually, the pair was up almost 100 pips relatively quickly. So I waited to the end of this 15-minute. You got long right there, and it was just a textbook scalp trade where we quickly moved up and grabbed the 50 pips that we were looking for in the cross. That worked out well, but let's see what we're going to see in the Euro JPY on a larger scale over the next few trading ranges. Basically, we obviously know that we have strong support right here, right now, around the 123, 122.50 area. That seems to be a resistance zone. Let me put that chart in. Seems to be a resistance zone that the cross is looking at lately, and so we're going to just watch that zone. And on the top, we're going to have that was a support zone. On the top, we have strong support between 126.80 and 127.50. So basically, we're going to call these the top and bottom of our current range, and we're going to need to see a break of this current range before I would anticipate a further move in either direction. So this, we'll just highlight this. So this makes our trading decisions a bit more clear cut, because you can see it has been trading here for the last month or so. But if we do get a breakdown of this 122.50 level, then we could be in the cards for a much sharper move lower. As you can see, we would then be playing with the directions from the larger move up, and this other range that we had right here. So the first target would be the bottom around the 120 level, and then we'd play it from there. So heading into the new week, you can see we're sitting right about mid-range, but we are also sitting at around 125, which basically, if we break above that, we could cycle towards the top, because you can see that's the price action that was really well respected. If we get a hold here, then we can get a see back push towards the bottom. Let's just take a look though at the pairs that are more interesting setups. I guess we could look at the scalp we tried to do with the Euro USD on the 5-minute chart in North America. We did the same thing. We basically had a pretty narrow range heading into North American trading. The bottom was the bottom was sitting right around here at the 130 level, and the top and we didn't want to go any shorter because the pair had already moved down quite a bit in European trading. And then you can see the pair broke higher towards this towards the top of our range, was basically in the 133, I think, 50 area. The pair did break up into and when we did have a break of the range, which I think was right about here, we did get in around 133.59, which appeared to be basically the top of the consolidation zone that the pair just drifted sideways in for a while. We almost had our break there at 133.70, but we could not get any momentum into the end of the week. The pair seemed to be a little bit dead. But let's look at the cross on a longer term basis. It's pretty straightforward trading. We have a range here between 135 and 133. Until we break that range, let's just play the inside of the range. And what we'll look for is any move up towards the top of the range. A break of 135 could cycle up to 137. On the bottom, 132.50. We can see a push down to 131.40. So that's what we'll be watching in that pair. Let's see what other majors we're going to have interesting setups. Great Britain JPY. You can see it's pushed down lower. We have 154.60 on the bottom and 155.75, 156.30. I tell you the truth, at this point, I would favor a move higher. Maybe we'll get a push down to 154, but I think we get a move higher, and I would be really confident that if we break this zone right here, then we can see it push all the way back up towards 158.30. So that's what I'll be watching in the new week. The Aussie, we had that trade. I took off today. Went flat ahead of the President weekend. There's no trading this week on Monday in the USD, and I will be sidelined and won't be scalping or anything because volatility will be very limited. So that's why I went flat on these trades. Who knows what's going to happen over that time with limited liquidity. You can see the pair could not break above this 103.75, 103 zone, and now is moving back down lower. What I'm going to be watching in this cross is basically the price action here at 103, and you can see it basically respected it. It has a channel that it seems to be forming right here on the downside. Seems to have basically respected that. So we'll see if we can get what we can get. Sorry, we'll see what we can get out of this pair in the meantime. We'll need to see a break of that range on either side. Obviously, we can make that a little more clearer, and if we get a break of that on either side, then we'll be off to the races. I would favor that if any move down towards the 102.50 level, that would be another opportunity to get in. Look for a push down to 101.45. New Zealand USD, still in the same wedge. I mean, maybe it broke up higher, but it couldn't close above it, so we'll just watch that wedge. We all know the story on this, but it has strong resistance between 85 and 85.60, so that's what we're going to be watching right there. Any move up to that could be an opportunity to short, to get down to the bottom, and so forth. What you can play, I'm going to play the range in that until it breaks. CAD, not touching this thing. It's sure moved 70 pips today, but it's still just in the broader range. 101 is the top, 99.40 is the bottom. And until we get a break of that, even if we get a break of that, I don't know if I'm going to jump into it because it's not really doing anything. It's moving, maybe 100 pips over a couple days, and the risk reward just isn't worth it. The USD JPY psyched everybody out and took all the yen pairs with it this week. We had the breakdown last night and then the sudden reversal. Now we're basically sitting exactly where we were last night. In the context of things, we didn't go that far, but we're still sitting at the 93.50 level. We're back above 93, so we're just going to watch the range. It looks like this pair might be settling in. 94.50 is the top of the range, 92 is the bottom, and we might be able to just play this range in the short term, and in effect, if we can play that range, we can play all the other ranges, because we did have quite breakouts yesterday. The Great Britain JPY, remember we said break 140.45, well it did. It broke all the way down to 143. Things were looking good in this cross, and then we had the sudden break, and hey, where did it stop? Right at 145 again. So heading into the new week, we have to watch that. That's key. A hold or break is what's going to give us direction. We get a hold here, we can cycle right back up into the range. Break, or right back down. We're going to be down towards favoring a push down towards 142 to start the new week. And I'm sure we're going to have the same picture in all the pairs. Yep, the Aussie broke down. Hey, it stopped, moved right back up to the top of that range. So we're still in this 97.50, 96 range in that pair in the hindsight. New Zealand, this pair is pretty slow trading, kind of boring at the moment, but yeah, it basically closed today, or it's getting close today, right about where it stopped. So we're just going to watch the top of the range at 79.40, bottom 76.76. The CAD JPY, just range trading in this thing, 94.25, 91.50 is the bottom. I would touch that if I had to. All right, everybody. So heading into the new week, the setups that we're going to watch, the Great Britain JPY and this 145 again, that could give us some indication of directions. The Great Britain pound also. We're going to watch it down here and see if we get a reversal. And we're going to watch this resistance zone to see what we get cooking out of that. And New Zealand, we're going to watch this wedge. It could play out. We could get a break on either side. It could be an opportunity. I'd love to see a push back up towards the top as maybe an opportunity to short towards the bottom of the wedge. And the yen and the story with all its crosses, we have a range there. Play it, and we're just going to bounce in between. So there'll be no I won't be midnight trading also on Monday, because I've just found when the North American trading is closed, we often don't have that much volatility, but it will all kick back up on Tuesday. All right, everybody, good luck trading and have a great weekend.